1300 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The foreign minister says the Kashmiri people are annoyed with India more today than ever before. The Punjab budget for the next fiscal year is being presented today. The European countries have started easing the lockdown and travel restrictions to avert economic crisis. In occupied Kashmir, the leader of the Communist Party has said India's new media policy for Jammu and Kashmir is to the freedom of speech and expression. And now the news in detail. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says the Kashmiri people are annoyed with India more today than ever before. Responding to the fake statement of the Indian Defence Minister, he challenged him to visit Muzaffarabad and gauge whether the Kashmiris support him. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said he or the Prime Minister Imran Khan can be invited to Srinagar to see how many people listen to them. He said the Modi government has complete misunderstanding of the reality on ground. The Punjab budget for the next fiscal year is being presented today. The Provincial Finance Minister Hashim Jawan Bakht will present the budget in the Provincial Assembly session being held at a local hotel in Lahore at 2 this afternoon. Earlier, a meeting of the Provincial Cabinet was held with the Chief Minister Sardar Usman Khan Buzdar and the chair and approved the budgetary proposals for the fiscal year 2020-2021. The Sindh budget for the next fiscal year would be presented on Wednesday. Sessions of the Senate and the National Assembly will resume in Islamabad this afternoon at 4 p.m. Both the houses will initiate discussion on the budget 2020-2021. Spray operations are continuing across the country to control and eliminate locusts. According to the spokesperson of the National Disaster Management Authority, 6,800 hectares of land was sprayed during the last 24 hours. He said over 623,000 hectares of area has so far been sprayed all across the country. The crop munching bug exists in 40 districts of the country, including 29 districts in Balochistan, 8 in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and 3 in Sindh. 5,248 new coronavirus cases have surfaced in the country during the last 24 hours, taking the total tally to 144,478. These include 54,138 in the Punjab, 53,805 in Sindh, 18,013 in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 8,177 in Balochistan, 8,569 in the Islamabad Capital Territory, 1,129 in Gilgit-Baltistan, and 647 in Azad Kashmir. The death toll from the virus has risen to 2,729 with 97 deaths reported during the last 24 hours. 53,721 patients stand recovered from the infection. The number of coronavirus infection cases across the world has reached nearly 8 million, while the pandemic has so far claimed more than 435,000 lives. The United States tops the list with over 2.1 million cases and more than 117,000 deaths. Brazil has reported over 867,000 cases and more than 43,000 deaths. The European countries have eased the lockdown and travel restrictions to revive the tourism industry. The 27-member bloc implemented reopening of frontiers with each other from today. Italy, which has been among the world's hardest hit by the new coronavirus pandemic, has already reopened its borders. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged the people world over to support migrants in the wake of economic crises due to COVID-19. In a message on the eve of the International Day of Family Remittances being observed tomorrow, he said at a time the money that the migrants send home to support their families have declined by more than $100 billion, causing hunger, lost schooling, and deteriorating health for tens of millions of families around the world. In occupied Kashmir, the leader of the Communist Party of India, Mohammad Yusuf Tarigami, has said India's new media policy for Jammu and Kashmir is an attempt to throttle the freedom of speech and expression in the held valley. In a statement in Srinagar, he said the policy has been framed with an aim to give the authorities a free hand to muzzle the freedom of the press in the occupied territory. He said the new media policy must be rolled back and the government must immediately stop intimidation of journalists in Jammu and Kashmir. In the United States, thousands of mostly African Americans have gathered near the White House. It was one of the largest faith based events in the last 17 days of protests. Meanwhile, Atlanta's top prosecutor has said his office will decide this week whether to bring charges against the police officer who shot Rayshard Brooks, a black African American whose killing sparked a fresh wave of protests and added fuel to nationwide anger over racial injustice. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.